sai na je karamfin nan har da su da su da fita na ci tawo suna ga an tashi to sun gangara haka da na ga na ka sun shiga cikin gidan na zama fita wannan gate na tashi da gudu na zuwa na je can sai na ji na yiwu waya ta shi ba gari na lalace kan su zo su sami shi cin zaki in tsara ina kuna suna ce nake
muna nan koyo muna kwanci a ran shi wannan 11:42 sai na ji karan bindiga sai na tashi sai na bude kofa sai na gan tsohon mu ya fita sai shi ya siya kofa shi ma ya ci ya wannan ya tilatar da tsohon mu wata tashi gari ba lafiya.
guda daya yana
gani kamar nan wannan wai akwai sai sun ce wai a wai ba gani
babana da mamana an kashe su kuma gidana an kone sannan sai ban ma ansa ba ban ma ji zuciya na haka ba ne.
sai dai sun taba kashe
yawa sun taba kashe mana yaro dai kusa da Christmas.
We know some of the Fulani that attacks us here. As I start saying, that Aldo is a father, and his son is the one we call Dorpa. And the other person, Juma. They are staying in the same place. After you cross the river, their house is very close, not less than 2 kilometers from their place. So they mingle with our people. We stay here within Kaduna again. So they are the people that invite adults.
mun yi kuka mun yi bakin ciki kamar yadda na gabata sun riga sun faɗa amma mun bawa Allah Allah wanda shi ke yin ta'aziya shine zai mana ta'aziya.
This old grandmother here is part of about over 80 years old.
Family's wiped out.
Her family is completely wiped out. This woman is one of the women that God has used to be keeping these poor people here. And this underscores the very serious problem that we are facing in this country. The very serious problem that we are facing in Kaduna State, particularly our communities in southern Kaduna. That unprovoked attacks are waged against defenseless people like this, vulnerable people like this, villagers. They don't have electricity. They don't have road networks in their villages. They don't have water supply. They don't have Medicare. The only thing they have is their farm and their animals that they rear. And even that one, some bloodthirsty individuals in the name of Fulani herdsmen will go into these communities and kill them in numbers, drive them away and take over their communities. And nothing is done about it. There are so many communities that are falling into this same process. They attack them, they kill them, they rape the women, they abduct some, and then they chase them away and take over the land. I am still calling on the government that the government needs to look at communities that have been so displaced and return back these communities to their ancestral lands. I'm calling on the international organizations, international community, Amnesty International, that genocide is taking place in southern Kaduna and that we need help from the outside world. We need help from the government.
Coco, that is really sad.
Very heartbreaking to watch.
And heartbreaking to think that unprovoked attacks on these Christian communities in Kaduna. Why? Because you are against their beliefs? It's amazing. But we have our guest on Skype. He is Honorable Jonathan ASAKE, like we saw him in the video, and he is the president of Southern Kaduna People's Union. Hello, Honorable Jonathan. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Good evening, sir. Thank you for joining us today on Beyond the Facts.
Good evening.
Thank you very much.
Yes. You know, we were talking about Christian persecution happening all around the world. And you told me that this crisis started way back in 1987. We are talking about Kaduna State in view. Tell us about how this crisis started in Kaduna.
Well, you know, Kaduna State is made up of two different sections. There is the southern and northern part. The southern part is mainly Christian, and the northern part is mainly Muslim. There are ethnic nationalities, that is tribal groups, that are in the southern part. And there are about 6 to 7 ethnic nationalities in the southern part of Kaduna State. And Tokapu, the umbrella organization, Southern Kaduna People's Union, which I am the leader, is actually the one that is umbrella body of those groups. Now, these killings in Kaduna State have been there all the time. But recently, from the year 2000 till now, the killings have been stepped up. And they have been perpetrated by Fulani Herdsmen militia. Fulani group militia that go from community to community in local governments of Kaduna State. Mind you, Kaduna State has 23 local governments, and 12 of those local governments constitute what we call Southern Kaduna. And so they continue to go from local government to local government, from community to community, killing, maiming, raping, and invading all communities, and then attacking the people. And after they have chased the people out, they will take over the community. And nothing is being done about it by government.
Okay, we said that this crisis in 1987 was because some young people who studied in Iran and South Sudan, for example, came back with a revolutionary ideology. And a Muslim gave his heart to Christ in 1987, and he became a pastor. And something happened while he was preaching in church that day. Tell us about it.
Yeah, that was the first religious crisis in Kaduna State. I remember that crisis in 1987. A preacher called Reverend Bako, who a Muslim convert, was preaching, and a lady that was Muslim just went and grabbed his shirt and screamed that he was quoting from the Quran. And that snowballed into a crisis within the campus, and the crisis escalated into the Kafanchan town, and then escalated to Kaduna town, which is about 250 kilometers away from Kafanchan, and then escalated to even other states, nearby states, that is Kaduna and Kano. I remember that was 1987. So it was a crisis that was basically religious. But after that, we had another crisis that was in 1992 that started from Zangon-Katab, which was a disagreement between the native indigents of that town, Zangon-Katab, and the Hausa Fulani settlers. And that disagreement again culminated into a very serious violence that escalated again to Kaduna town and Zaria and many cities and even beyond. And of course, we had the Sharia crisis of 2000 and 2001, where Sharia was to be imposed. They started Sharia, if you remember, in Zamfara State at that time, and there was agitation. And this Sharia agitation was basically as a result of young Muslim students that went to study in Iran and Sudan and other countries and came back with some kind of radical ideology. Before this time, Christians and Muslims had been staying in peace. But as soon as these people came with their radical ideology, then everything started changing. And from that time, we have not known peace until Boko Haram invasion that were bombing churches, you know, from church to church. It started from 2011. And while Boko Haram was raging more in the northeast zone, then came the Fulani herdsmen militia that have been invading parts of the Middle Belt areas in Plateau, in Benue, in Taraba, Adamawa, and so on, but more in southern Kaduna. In fact, communities in southern Kaduna, I remember in 2014, 168 people were killed in one night in a town called Bondong in Kaura local government.
Wow.
Also in 2000, yes, and in 2013, about 248 people were killed in Tanga local government, a local government bordering with Nasarawa and Plateau. And so this had continued. Now, the recent invasions of our communities, which has taken a genocidal scale, is the one that has been taking place in Chukun local government, which is bordering Kaduna and Niger and the FCT. And communities, over 18 communities have been completely sacked. Most of them are in IDP camps, and some have been killed. And then Kaduna local government, which is now in the eye of the storm. As I'm talking now, it is raining heavily in Kaduna, and most of these people that have been sacked from over 18 communities in Kaduna local government and Chukun local government also are now in the rain. They cannot go to their farm. They cannot go to harvest. Their children are out of school. And the worst of it all is that the government of the day does not care about the plight of these people. 3 weeks or even 4 weeks after they have been invaded and displaced into the camp, no facilities, no medical care, no food is being taken to them by government. And this is what our communities are going through every day. And the world does not even know about it. That southern Kaduna is being invaded and ethnic cleansing is going on, and the Fulani militia that are invading these communities have taken over the communities and are staying there, and no effort by the security operatives to go and apprehend them or bring them to justice. And most of these Fulani are coming from outside the country.
Yes.
They only come to collaborate with the local Fulanis to perpetrate these heinous crimes against humanity.
Thank you so much, Honorable. We see what you are doing for these Christians that has been displaced in the southern part of Kaduna. And we want to say God bless you for a good work that you are doing in Kaduna. Thank you so much for coming on today's show of Beyond the Facts. We will talk to you again soon. Thank you so much, Honorable.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
You know, Coco, this is amazing. Like the Honorable did say, he said that these are ideologies. You remember we watched the report of Iran, China, some of